Welcome everybody. It's your boy DC. This is Out of the Fog, a local matter show that goes right across the province, talking about all the cool people doing all the cool things. Tonight on the couch, three all-stars. So excited. Terry Ryan, he is an octo threat. He is an actor, a stuntman, a writer, an NHL all-star legend who's given back to the community in a big way. Can't wait to have him hanging out. Tamara from Music NL, the ED, came in and she is coming for the crumbs, kicking butt and making all of us proud in the arts community. And then finally, hanging out on the couch, it's one and only, we have Sandra from Pi and L. Now she's all about that relaxed luxury from Muskoka Fashion Week right here to Newfoundland and Labrador. Can't wait to have her talk about everything Pi and L is up to for 2025. This is Out of the Fog, and we'll see you right after the break. Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and am I ever pumped to have a legend on the couch, but you ain't seen nothing yet because he's coming through with all sorts of new. The one and only Terry Ryan. What's up, my man?
Well, I've been real busy. Thanks for having me on, man. You know, I'm a big fan, and it's nice to do some TV work here in Newfoundland. I've been traveling so much.
Well, I know. I was going to say, I mean, like, there's nothing like being all over all the big screens across North America and beyond to really make you feel like you're on your way. Am I right?
Hey, man, I got lucky there. If you're referring to Shoresy, which season 4 just came out.
That's right.
Episode 3 comes out Friday. Yeah, I didn't expect any of that. I was in, for years, I was on film crew here with Republic of Doyle, Frontier, Hudson and Rex. You know, I'm in the union as a set dresser. Did the odd gig, the odd stunt, helping or meeting Jason Momoa, having Alan Hocko for a buddy, the people that take the shot. Kind of helped that. I think they helped me out get a start, but I didn't expect anything like Shoresy.
Well, let me tell you, and for the viewers at home, Hulu, Crave, you know, those big, huge streaming channels that everybody subscribes to. Well, our boy here is only hitting season 4 on these channels, and they're the #1 program on both of the streaming networks. So to say that the star is just going like this is an understatement, but that's old hat to you. I mean, let's talk about everything that led you here, from playing for the NHL, being an author, multiple, to all the work you're doing now in TV, the work that you do with the community. I mean, Terry, there's nothing that you don't do, man.
Well, a lot of that, honestly, was survival. A lot of people give me credit for trying all these different things. I did, and I guess I had the gumption to go forward with it, but it was, you know, I'm a first-round pick, the NHL, and things didn't go the way I wanted them to, or anybody. I mean, I had a lot of fans here. I'm from Newfoundland. I always
Still do.
Received a lot of support. Thank you, Donnie. I appreciate that. But, you know, life doesn't always work as you're going to predict when you're in your 20s, and as great as things seemed, I ran into an ankle injury and some other things I didn't foresee. And really, I mean, I was, you know, and I was raising my buddy B.J. Young, who passed in a car accident. I was raising his son. I just had a new daughter, Penny Lane, who's 14 now. Wow. But at the time, you know, and I clawed my way onto the film set. I was doing location. I was a production assistant, locations, AD. For a while, I got on to be a set dresser. And along the way, you know, I wrote a book about my experiences, but I keep a journal. I'm an only child. My parents made me read or write every night for 20 minutes. So
really?
That's true, yeah. And when I left here at 14, I was playing junior. I like to tell stories. The guys were nice to me, but they weren't like now they are lifelong friends, but at the time I had nothing in common with a 20-year-old, you know, with all that going on, 3 years out of high school. I'm in grade 9, doing out there totally fresh-faced. So my journal became my companion, and I like to write. I'm glad I got 2 books out now, Tales of a First Round Nothing,
that's right.
And Flanker Press right here published Tales with TR Fights, Film, and Folklore during the pandemic. So I'm ecstatic that I have those out there. I always loved writing. I considered myself a writer as much as a hockey player when I was a kid. Now these things get to come to fruition. I do some stand-up. I mean, I would say more public speaking. I still don't love doing stand-up, but I did get an opportunity through Jerry D. And, you know, I've had this life that's littered with crazy experiences and things that make you just, you know, in the Growlers game last year, right?
That's crazy.
But it's all, again, it's timing. And I guess keeping the train on the tracks and not getting waylaid by anything. And I guess the biggest thing I could say, not that you asked, but you know, if you're looking at me or anybody in my position for inspiration, just kind of stick with it. And because at any point there, I really, like, I nearly a couple of times took a job that, and sometimes you need to do that, and I did more than once. I mean, I'm not telling you about the times I stacked shells overnight. I did security for close to minimum wage, all within like the last 15 years. And those things also happen, but you know, I could have taken something I didn't want to do and got paid a decent salary for it. And I'm not saying I risk everything, but I risked a lot, but I really didn't see it going where it is. I guess my goal would have been, you know, just a decent living and be somewhat creative.
So a couple things to unpack here that I find to be interesting. The Terry Ryan that was sort of in my periphery, I thought was all jock, no smock. And it's refreshing, I think, for the viewers as well, to see how multifaceted people can be and to look at them beyond what you think they are, because you're a writer who ended up playing hockey. But a lot of people would never say it was in that order. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, and I never really thought about it until after my career was over, well after, because when my book came out and I started to get, and I honestly, I'm in a unique position that I got a chance to get a book published, and I played for the Montreal Canadiens, and they were nice enough to let me use their jersey on the front, and things that helped me promote it. I have people in the industry like Ken Reed, Bob McCowan, that put me on their programs and helped it sell and everything. But I ran into a lot of people during my time playing, and even my time now, I do a lot of public speaking with athletes, and a lot are creative. They either bottle it up or you don't really see it publicly. And I guess sometimes, how could you, right? But I know at least 4 guys on every team I played in that can play guitar. You know, I know that from the back of the bus and telling stories. And you know, a lot of hockey players, like a lot of people in my family here, would probably say they're not performers. Yet you're on the bus, right? And someone will break, there's a little song I wrote. What? Jerry, what are you talking about? Right? And then, you know, a lot of people keep a journal like I did. I just don't know if a lot of people want to be public about it. But, you know, there is a lot of creativity out there.
For sure. Well, I'll tell you what, man, time is flying in our hang. I want to focus on the good work you're doing for the community, because that's pretty exciting. And then I want to finish it off with how folks can be listening to you with Tales of TR. So there's 2 little tricks left in our hat. But for now, talk to me about the upcoming event that you guys are having to raise good dough for the people who need it.
Yeah, well, thanks for asking, because there's a few causes that are very serious and dear to my heart. Okay, so I've got a chance since, you know, the last few years. The book was one thing, and, you know, the Canadians always had a little opportunity there, a small platform to work with. But since I've been on Spit and Chicklets a little bit and you know, now as Shoresy, I get a chance to go and speak and do a lot of fundraisers. And now that I've been doing them for a few years, consistently, one of my favorite causes is Hockey Helps the Homeless, because I just see it with my own eyes. I have relatives, I have friends, I have a lot of ex-hockey players. I don't want to get personal, but just look out there. It's Google search away some big-time players that, you know, ended up on the wrong side of the tracks one way or the other. Sometimes it's just hard times, sometimes it's addiction, sometimes it's wrong place, wrong time. But May 8th, we're going to do a Hockey Helps the Homeless. We're going to do it here. It's a weekend. I was going to say an event. It is an event, but it's more than one night. What it is, the first night there's a little bit of a draft.
Nice.
Well, it is a draft, but there's a get-together, you know, beers, coffee, food, whatever you want.
Yeah.
And it'll be 12, I think, teams right now, maybe a little bit more.
Cool.
And whoever raises the most money, of course, gets to pick first. And it'll be myself, Wendell Clark, guys like Mike Krushelniski, Michael Ryder, I heard, might be playing. There's all kinds. I mean, I'm in the process of putting some people together, and I don't want to finalize anything yet.
Sure.
But we have 10 or 11 like players that, you know, people idolize for one reason or another. Usually it's Stanley Cup or it's statistics in hockey or whatever. But they're going to be awesome, and we do a lot of these events. We raise a lot of money, and we're just looking for as many teams locally. If you want to go to Hockey Helps the Homeless, hhth.com, or just follow me on and shoot me a note on Twitter or Instagram or any of those social media platforms, and I'll make sure that you get in and play our tournament with some of your heroes.
I love it. And listen, guys, I'll tell you what, Terry Ryan, we're going to throw to the break, but will you come back and hang out with us again?
I'd absolutely love to. Thanks for asking.
I love it because you know where we are now, right? You know?
Let's get on the go, boys.
Let's go, boys. So I'll tell you what, guys, Terry Ryan, he's the man you want to be checking out. He is multifaceted from the history of what he's done to where he's going. You want to check him out with Shoresies and Tales with TR, his incredible podcast. Don't miss it. It's Out of the Fog. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and am I ever excited to be sitting next to the Queen Bee of Music NL, the ED, making it happen for artists across the land. Tamara, how are you?
Oh, I am great, Donnie. Thank you for having me here.
I'm so excited that you're here.
I'm really excited. It's snowing outside, but it is warm in here.
It is warm in here,
Yeah.
and it's the love of music. Let's keep it real.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
What led you into a love of music and the work that you're doing?
Oh, a long short story. My dad was an instrument builder, and my mom was a community organizer. So what do you know? I ended up organizing in music. So
Right.
yeah, I grew up surrounded by people who loved music, were making music in various capacities, and people who are organizing things. And yeah, here I am. Long story about how I got here from there, but yeah, that's pretty much what
to me,
started it all.
it's a direct flight to deadliness. I mean, really.
Thank
And I'll
you.
tell you what, moving into that organization, which has helped so many musicians to form instrumental connections, as we know, I'm sure a lot of gifts have been falling into your lap in terms of experience and memories being made. Am I right?
Well, I mean, my relationship with the organization began probably in the early 2000s, where I was at various events and conferences and would go because my family is from Newfoundland. I would just gravitate towards the Newfoundlanders, and they were all under the banner of Music NL. So it is a very full circle that I end up here working for the organization. I'm really happy. It's been a real gift and a blessing.
Well, I'll tell you what, very thankful to be in the orbit of Music NL and all the amazing things and events and all the stuff that you do. And so I will say, it does take a village to make it happen. And we know from the boards that help us do our things that it's no small feat to keep it all moving and grooving. When you look at 2025 and what's gone on so far and what's coming up, what are you excited about?
Ooh, well, wow, a lot. Could be a long answer there. I mean, overall, I'm just excited that we are getting back out there. The organization, the music, as we are touring like we have not toured in many years.
Wow.
And, Music NL is in step with that. We are doing what we can to bring music to the world stage, also to celebrate it within the province, within the region, to support people who want to stay at home, tour at home, make music at home, and to support those who want to go a little further afield, and really to, bring our culture out into the world and build a strong industry at home.
Well, I love to hear it. And I think that we're seeing evidence of a lot of success going on. I mean, from the Newfound Talent competition that started with Music NL and now has evolved in relationship with the Folk Festival and beyond. And am I right, speaking of folk, there is an upcoming event that we have a pretty large contingency of Newfoundlanders heading to.
Well, we do. And in fact, that's one of the events that I first saw Music NL and ECMA at. So in a few weeks, from February 19th to 23rd, we are taking 22 Newfoundland and Labrador artists. I think delegation of total maybe 40, 45 people. Wow. To Folk Alliance International, which it wanders across North America. Sometimes it's in New Orleans, sometimes in Kansas City, and this year it's in Montreal. And so we want to take advantage of that fact, that appearance, to bring our Newfoundland Labrador delegation and shine strong and get people back out there and connected with the folk world.
Well, I love that, and how lucky are the artists to have the support of Music NL to help organize and invite them to really compete and show on the world stage and get their product out there. And it's hard to refer, I think, sometimes to music as product and service and this and that, but ultimately music is a business, and Music NL has done so much to help empower and educate and strengthen confidence in musicians with so many of the things that you've done, which is so great. So I'm going to ask you, when you think about the awards week and conference week that we had, and you're looking ahead to this year, I wonder if you know any details you can share with your boy.
Well, we will soon announce the dates for our next event, which we are rebranding Music NL Week, really kind of coming back to the NL in the name, and wanting to bring international delegates here.
Yeah.
And we want them to know they are coming to Newfoundland and Labrador. Just stay tuned. But, you know, a nice fall date that is not as early as last year.
Okay.
And that will nestle very nicely into a lovely week of music and celebration and all that wonderful stuff. And of course, business. You know, we love to celebrate the culture and the business same time, and keep both happy and interworking in a lovely ecosystem.
I love it. And when you think about the feedback that you get from the delegates who come here to evaluate and offer opportunity, whether it be film or you know, other sort of television or other different ways for our artists to commercialize their product outside of stage performance, I mean, you can probably assume you're hearing some good feedback from these folks who come from far and wide to check out what we have to offer. What do you hear?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, well, first of all, our poetry, you know, we love our words.
True.
We are a wordy crew, and we put out some really great songwriters in all genres. You know, I just spoke about folk a lot, but our songwriting is strong across the board. Cool. And then have melodies, you know, the whole package really punches a very strong weight on the global scene. We get a lot of feedback, of course, about how lovely, friendly, and gregarious we are as well. We have a way of doing business with a lot of charm involved. And that's a really nice thing, because like you say, at the end of the day, it really, it is a business.
I'll tell you what, this has been a great hang. Will you come back and see me again?
Absolutely, Donnie. Love it.
Thank you so much. Well, I'll tell you what, everybody. Tamara and the entire crew happening with Music NL has so much to offer. If you are an artist or an art supporter, you want to check out musicnl.ca and find out about all the amazing programs and resources that are offered to musicians and artists abroad. This is Out of the Fog. We'll be right back after this break.
Your opinion matters, and we want to hear from you. Get in touch with us using our viewer feedback line, your direct connection to shaping the shows you love. It's easy. Just grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen, and take our quick survey. Share your thoughts, and let's make your viewing experience even better.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Out of the Fog, and don't mind me while I just finish flicking through an edition of one of the freshest, coolest, sexiest magazines to be coming out the box in our local market since, well, I don't even know when. And who is the queen bee next to me making it happen? Sandra Roberts coming through just off the plane. And she's back on Newfoundland soil. How are you?
I'm good. On another one-way trip.
I know. That's how you roll.
I do.
Right, I love it.
You're like, when are you leaving? I'm like, I just got here.
Sandra would be like, I'll get a DM. I'll be in town in a couple of days. And I'll be like, best kind. She comes through. She waves wands, pulls rabbits out of hats, and does it all. And she's gone again. Off to do fashion events and all the amazing things that you do in other places across the country like Muskoka, which we'll talk about in a second. But for now, Sandra, what made you start Pi, which is not yesterday, based on all the amazing folks that have graced the cover and the pages of your magazines over the years? Tell me all about it.
Like 20 years ago, is that what you mean? 20 years ago, or Pi NL, which was 2 years ago? Pi. So 20 years ago, you know, there was a void in the Canadian market at that time where there was so many independent designers and great Canadians that I wanted to feature and merge together. But then my community, I wanted to merge those leaders in the field with my community, and I had a retail store, and I was constantly having celebrations. So the magazine kind of came together for all of those reasons, and then also I wanted to travel and tell stories about people around the world and bring them home.
Well, that's what I've seen in the pages of all the magazines we've seen. So 20 years of fashion and storytelling and publications to document your journey and all the incredible folks in the pages. and then Pie NL.
Yeah, one of my favorite magazines I think that I've done in the last decade has been Pie NL. So now it's really about bringing it home, right? So it's like I have home in Ontario and I have home in Newfoundland and Labrador, and for years I've been an ambassador talking about what's going on here in the cultural scene and the economic scene and the shopping scene. And so again, I was the same mandate 20 years ago, but now just doing specifically for Newfoundland and Labrador and distributing that across Canada and to a market that's desiring Canadian travel in a new way as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, very well said, and just to really bring us back to the Newfoundland roots, I mean, it's a Brigus girl that I'm hanging out with here.
Well, Brigus, and then, I did go to Bishop's. So,
That's right.
I'm kind of both.
You were, yeah? Half
But
Downey, half Bay?
Yeah, totally the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
So like every time I came home, of course, it was St. John's and Brigus. So there's a lot of pride in that. I think that has always been, it's a very special town, and it's always been special to me, and now the rest of the world gets to learn more about Brigus as well. So, yeah.
It's full circle. And may I say, do you think that, St. John's plus Brigus plus national leads to the concept of relaxed luxury? Let's talk about it.
It's that, and then I think it's just being on the water, like living in Ontario on the water for 23 years as well, where it's like I host the meetings, people come to my house. It was like my kitchen party was in my kitchen, and I feel like when I came back here, constantly staying in Airbnbs. I do think this may be my 70th Airbnb stay in St. John's in 30 years. Yeah. So so that's definitely a big part of the vibe is the community that supports the publication and how we live, and that's the relaxed luxury. But it's also the time. It's not so much like the luxury and like just designer everything, but it's about like the supporting local. It's about making time to celebrate with friends and family. Like really, that's the luxury.
That is the
luxury.
You know what? That is so right and so well said. And so many of us, when we think about luxury, we think about high-ticket items and the austere. But really, you're right. Family, friends, being together, that's the luxury we get to enjoy here. But no one has ever said it that way. So I find that to be a very interesting takeaway from our hang here today.
Yeah, living so close to Toronto, you know what I mean, in that luxury market in Muskoka, and then coming to Newfoundland, and me always referring to Newfoundland as luxury, and people kind of really, Newfoundland luxury, really? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to show you. Because for those that don't know, I mean, if you live here and you travel here, of course, we know.
Right.
But for the people that don't know, I really needed to create a product to show them in a very sensory way and the people hear it too, actually.
Well, I'll tell you what, speaking of which, mission accomplished, because the pages of this magazine, the product itself is of such quality. The faces throughout, we're talking about our premiere, we are talking photographers and content creators of all kinds that are contributing to each edition that you put out. And I find it such a rare and amazing way for us to look at ourselves through the eye of a luxurious product, but also something that feels warm and beautiful and embraces the scenery and everything that we have going on that's so unique. And you are the curator of this entire scenario. You take that responsibility very seriously.
I do, and I refer to it as like integrated marketing. So I think that it's like, that's all about the storytelling, but like the reason why you like it is because you know so many people. So when you look at this, you have an intimate relationship with some of the people that are in here.
Maybe, yeah.
But I also love the collaboration and the collectives that we build throughout the pages of the publication. And the diversity and inclusion of new Newfoundlanders and people that have pioneered and paved the way like yourself. And I think that is what really sets it apart than just another Canadian publication.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah, so unique.
I just did what you did.
I know,
It looks so
we're doing it
good.
together. But I'm going to ask you, in our
Yes.
final minute of hang here,
Okay.
you're looking into the crystal ball
Oh, yeah.
of Pie NL. What do you see?
A lot of fun. I see. I definitely see that, again, bringing that integrated marketing to like a bigger market. And right now, you know, launching Muskoka Fashion Week this year, which is really,
huge.
really huge. But like, it's almost like, I feel like Muskoka, some say, is the best kept secret in Canada. I say it's Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yeah, baby.
So I think merging both those legacy storytellings, the history, the grace, the elegance of both destinations this summer is a big thing. But then also really talking about like bespoke travel, really highlighting the amazing content creators that are here and promoting brands to come here to have their content created here in Newfoundland and Labrador.
And also taking people from here that are expert content creators and taking them across the land
That's
like
it.
you've done.
Yeah, because before I'd bring people here to do photography and modeling, and now, of course, I want to bring my Newfoundland team to Ontario because it's the best of the best in Canada.
Well, speaking of the best, what you guys want to do is be getting your hands on Pi NL, do the searches and all the things, and I can't wait for another big year of content storytelling, relaxed luxury, and every trick that you pull out of the hat every time you fly in, Sandra.
Well, thanks.
Will you
Thanks
come
for your
back and see
support.
us? Oh my God, always. I just love seeing people doing great things, and you are one of those people, and we are very thankful to have someone like you that is coming back into our orbit to help us see ourselves in the way that you see us, and I think that's a gift unto itself.
Well, thank you.
Of
Thanks for
course.
being a leader in that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, we're going to cut to the break, and we're going to keep on hanging and living life, but she'll be back on the couch. Will you come back and see us again?
Oh, yeah, I don't want to leave.
Well, then don't stick around.
Okay.
Guys, Out of the Fog, Sandra, Pi NL, get with it. We'll be right back after this break. Thanks everybody for tuning in to Out of the Fog tonight. We're just having the best time ever, as always, why I'm laughing. Thank you so much, Terry, Ryan, and Tamara, and Sandra for coming on the show tonight. 3 incredible humans who are doing the most in their orbits. That's why we love doing the show. It reminds us anyone can come on and give back and do great things. It's easy. Just put your hand to it. If you want me to let you know how, just DM me after the show. So we'll see you guys next time.